Hey guys, how the hell are you? Welcome back to Arnold Drinks. My name is Arnold, and tonight I drink. So this is something that I've had for a little bit now, but I've kind of wanted to bring it out here for a video for you guys so that you also can understand why I love this whiskey. This is Glenrothes 12 year. It's part of their Soleo collection. It is a Speyside single malt scotch. For those unaware, there's a variety of different regions that scotch comes from. I tend to gravitate towards the Speyside because it's a little bit easier drinking, it's a little bit more approachable, it's a little bit easier to get into. It's that term that a lot of whiskey drinkers don't necessarily like so much. It's smooth. And it is what it is. It's a very smooth, easy drinking whiskey, and I wanted to kind of share it with you guys so that you can also appreciate it, hopefully. So this is a 40% alcohol by volume. It's 80 proofer. It's also relatively inexpensive. If you can still find this sucker for about $43, $44, pick it up, because that is a very, very fair price for this. I have been seeing it a little bit more expensive out there, but occasionally you pop into a store and you happen upon this for about $43, $44. In my opinion, very, very well worth it, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. On the label, it does state some notes that you may experience when trying this whiskey. I don't necessarily use that as a guide. I use that as more of something like a primer. It just kind of puts you in the right mindset, sets you off in the right direction. But you're gonna find with the notes that they list here, vanilla, melon, and cinnamon, it's not quite just limited to that, and that's not really selling the notes that you're gonna get from it. So with that, let's go into the nose. Bit of that sherry red fruit sweetness. This is, by the way, sherry cask matured, and a little bit of peach and apricot in there, but a lot of vanilla, which I actually find to be uncharacteristic in a lot of scotches that I like. But there's a lot of vanilla here. There is a lot of melon, specifically cantaloupe. Like when you just freshly cut a cantaloupe and kind of hold it up right as you're about to bite into it, that kind of clean, juicy aroma, that's kind of what I'm getting out of this. There's also a slight earthiness in the aroma too. Not a huge amount of peat at all, so there again, remember, this is a Speyside single malt, easy drinking, easily approachable, so if peat is not your thing, don't worry. Oh my god, and it gets better with age. So this has actually sat on my shelf for a few weeks since last I had a sip from this bottle, and oh my god, that has actually kind of opened up a bit more. The melon and the vanilla are way more prominent than I remember. There's also a bit more cinnamon than I remember, which, hey, those are the three notes that are listed on the top there. The cinnamon especially comes through on the finish. It comes through really big and bold, and then it just kind of immediately starts to dissipate. It doesn't linger, it doesn't choke you to death. The finish, not really very dry at all. It doesn't have that super dry sherry finish. Let's go in for another sip. Really nice honey color on that too. Second sip, ooh, there's that cinnamon from the finish. Speaking of honey, second sip, you get a bit more of a honey flavor coming through there, as well as a little bit of mintiness and oak. Definitely anything that is kind of drying as far as the palate goes, as far as the finish goes, is definitely coming from that oak note that's in there. And it's a nice oak note. It's not something that's super woody, but you can just definitely tell it's that kind of oaky, drying characteristic to it, but kind of coupled with that sort of red fruit sherry flavor. It's something that, as this has sat on the shelf, I feel like it's bloomed a little bit. The flavor profile, the notes that are in there are just a lot more present, a lot more prominent, and I kind of don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to go back in for another sip. Oh man, just so much cantaloupe. It's coupled with that vanilla note kind of nicely. That minty freshness that's in there too. It's weird. It's like a kind of spearmint kind of mint freshness that just hits like the upper palate and in the cheeks a little bit before giving way to the cinnamon and the oak character that's especially present in the finish. This is just a really fantastic sipping Scotch whiskey, something that if you're not extremely familiar with Speyside single malts, this is a great way to get into it, sort of dipping your toe in, not spending profuse amounts of money on the really amazing, rare, hard to get stuff with the super high age statements, but also definitely a little bit more complex and a little bit more to it than your $20 bottom shelf Glen Parkers. It's just really, really good. It's really solid all around. It's not overly complex. It's just complex enough to kind of pull you in and give you something that is a really good mouthfeel, really good flavor profile. This is really just kind of an exceptional Speyside single malt. I kind of love this, especially for the money. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel. As always, remember, take what you do seriously, but do not take yourselves too seriously.